The story for Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is set in the dystopian future of 2007. After Earth has been ravaged by a nuclear war, you play as a man named Sergeant Rex Power Colt, who is a Mark IV cyber commando. He's the best of the best, and after a failed mission when one of his buddies gets killed, he has to go and stop an evil cyborg army known as a Megaforce, led by an ex-soldier that went rogue named Sloan. Rex, with the help of a scientist named Darling, has to stop Sloan before he does bad things. Very bad things. The story is not... The story is not meant to be taken seriously at all. To quote Ubisoft, it is an 80s style VHS vision of the future, and that is the perfect way to describe this story. There's tons and tons of references from movies of that period, and they're hilarious, very brief, not overstaying its welcome. It's not in your face. I love that. And I also like that it's not just straight up action references. They actually put a Thing reference in there. One of my favorite movies of all time. They even put a Thing reference. I love you, Ubisoft. I love you. The story itself is extremely cheesy, but of course it's supposed to be, and I love the main character. First of all, his name is Rex Power Colt. That's an awesome name, and he has plenty of great one-liners that are perfectly performed by Michael Biehn. Overall, if you know what you're getting yourself into, you're going to think this is hilarious like I did. It's so much fun, it's entertaining, and you'll love where it goes. So yeah, the story here is great. Now let's talk about the sound for Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which I already said Michael Biehn as Rex Powers Colt, which I love that name. I'm going to name my first kid that, is great here. He's older now and he has that gravelly type voice that works perfectly for an 80s action hero, and he just seems like he's having a good time reading some of these lines, and they are some damn good lines. The rest of the voice acting is great as well, and there's plenty of really funny lines that they get to spout out, but definitely Michael Biehn steals the show here. The sound design has a very futuristic style to it. All your guns sound like laser beams when you shoot them, and all the characters around you that you fight all have like a cybernetic voice to them, which is pretty cool. And the soundtrack itself is actually really damn good. It has a very retro style to it, and it comes in at the perfect moments when the action is really getting heated up. So overall, I think the sound here is fantastic. Now, the graphics for Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon attempts to make the world you inhabit dark, literally, and dystopian. This works amazingly well because it adds a sense of danger at all times. What makes this even better is that the lighting and the colors used are phenomenal. Enemies like the cyborgs and especially the blood dragons look amazing because they have this neon color scheme that looks perfect in the dark environment. And it really just pops in this game, and it is a feast for the eyes. I love neon colors, and when they're used appropriately in a game, it just works wonders, and it definitely does here. So to wrap this up, the animations are very fluid, the character models are nice, especially the blood dragons, and the action pops along with the neon colors. So overall, this game looks phenomenal. But now let's talk about the gameplay for Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which of course is a first-person shooter / stealth game, and you can play it either way. You can play it as a stealth game or a first-person shooter, or as both. For the most part, the gameplay is the same as Far Cry 3, which is not a bad thing because Far Cry 3 was great, and more of a great thing is great. The gunplay is still tight, very responsive, feels so good when you shoot a weapon. They're all balanced, a lot of fun to try out, and the cover system is great in this game, just like it was in Far Cry 3. You start off with a pretty simple list of weapons. You get a shotgun, pistol, assault rifle, sniper rifle, a grenade, but later on while you're unlocking more missions and completing them, you'll actually get more weapons, and you'll even get more weapon modifications you can use for some weapons, like put a silencer on your pistol or put a better scope on your assault rifle. Now, to get these modifications, you have to finish side missions, and to get side missions, you have to go and take over bases called garrisons, which are enemy-controlled bases they have to maneuver in. You can go guns a-blazing, kill everybody, or you can go in with a more stealthier approach with your bow and arrow or your silenced pistol or whatnot, and just take out enemies without them noticing, disabling their alarms, and hell, halfway through, you can just switch back into action and just whoop some ass. Now, like Far Cry 3, you can actually use animals to do your bidding and go and kill everybody in the base. The thing is that these aren't just typical animals like tigers or bears like in Far Cry 3. These are dragons, blood dragons. which are these big neon green lizards that just attack anything, and they shoot laser beams. That's awesome. And you can actually get them to attack the people in the base by throwing hearts. Yes, that's right. You can actually rip out hearts from the people that you already killed and use those to lure these blood dragons into a base and let them just decimate a group. And you can do that pretty much throughout the entire game during story mode, whatnot. And watching the carnage in a side mission or in the story mode, or if you just want to do it for fun, it's awesome. It really is. Now let me get back on track. When you finish getting the garrison and all the enemies are cleared out, you actually unlock other side missions like hostage takeovers, where you actually have to go save a scientist hostage, and you have to make sure that you're stealthy, but you can go guns a-blazing and just make sure that the scientist does not die. And the last set of missions are hunting missions, which are pretty much the same as Far Cry 3, where you have to go kill a rare animal with the gun that they provide you. Doing the side missions and the garrisons add a lot more content to the game, and they're actually very enjoyable, so it's not a hassle just to do all these. But that's not it. You also have collectibles you can find in the world, which range from television sets to VHS tapes. You can find tons and tons of it, and I like that they give you a reason to explore the environment. So you already have a good 6 hours of content here from all the side missions, garrisons, and collectibles, but that's not it. You also have the great, hilarious story mode that has 7 missions. All of them are very, very fun, not repetitive, have great set pieces, and it's just so entertaining. Some missions will have you blow up a bridge, and that doesn't work, so you have to go sneak around in a cave full of blood dragons, and then you're on a turret going up on an elevator shooting a bunch of enemies, and there's so many great set pieces. Some might think the story's too short, but you know what? 4 hours for the story mode and then about 6 or 7 hours of side content, 11 hours for 15 bucks. That's a deal nowadays, it really is. So definitely go check out Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, especially if you love Far Cry 3 like I did. It's available tomorrow on Xbox Live Arcade, PC, and PSN. Definitely go check it out. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is a fantastic piece of downloadable content. Thank you and goodbye.